in Uganda, in the region, and on the continent, as well as on the international scene. This is Smart 24, where we drive your business. Now, you can always catch Smart 24 on channel 394 on Go TV, as well as free-to-air decoders. And you can also catch us live on our YouTube live stream at Smart 24 TV. A warm welcome. It is the 25th of May, Wednesday morning. I hope you've had yourselves a wonderful morning. I welcome you back from SMB as well with Paul Sonko there. And now we are here to have a look into the financial markets and how they are faring this morning. And before we go any further, I'd like to take you through what the market looks like on the stocks this morning before we came on air. As you can see on my screen, Bank of Baroda this morning is trading at 85 Uganda shillings per stock, and that has been the opening price this morning. That has been the opening price this morning. As you can remember, Bank of Baroda has had a few highs and lows over the last couple of days, and it's stabilizing right now at 85 shillings. And the high and low prices have been 85 shillings. Remember, Bank of Baroda is a financial institution. It's a corporate bank that is in Uganda that has been listed over on the exchange for quite some time now, over the last couple of years. And we have 85 shillings right there. If you want to access a share in Bank of Baroda, all you need is 85 Uganda shillings. Moving on, British American Tobacco Uganda is trading at 15,000 Uganda shillings per stock, and that hasn't changed over the past 24 hours and a couple of past weeks. 15,000 shillings was the opening price for BAT this morning, and the high and low prices were as well 15,000 Uganda shillings. Then moving on to Centum Investments. Now, Centum Investments witnessed a loss in price over the past 24 hours by 20.15 Uganda shillings, and is currently trading at 314.1 Uganda shillings. And the high and low prices and opening price as well has been 314.1 Uganda shillings. Now, Centum Investment is a company listed, cross-listed from Kenya. That is, it's both listed on the Nairobi Stock Exchange and on the Uganda Stock Exchange. And as you know, companies in Kenya have been having some difficult time over the past few days. And the experts say this is due to probably the elections that have been looming and continue to loom right there in Kenya, and therefore they have affected the trading not only in the money market but as well in the capital market. As well, inflation has had has done more harm than good to the stock market there in Kenya and in Uganda as well. But we continue to watch the space as we monitor the stock prices. Then Equity Bank Limited is trading this morning at exactly 1,352.2 Uganda shillings, and that was the closing price yesterday after a drop of 78.26 Uganda shillings. As you can see this on the screen, you have East African Equity Bank Limited trading at 1,352.2 Uganda shillings, and the high and low prices have been maintained at 1,352.2. As well, there's slight drop in share price, and this company, Equity Bank Limited, has a branch in Uganda, but is also cross-listed from Kenya. And on the Kenyan market, it has been very, very, very turbulent right there, as you can witness that drops in prices. Moving on, we have Cipla Quality Chemical Industries trading at 80 Uganda shillings. Now, CIPLA, like we saw yesterday, has returned to profitability after a very long time without any registering any profit on the stock market after being listed on the stock market. So CIPLA has picked up and is currently trading shares at 80 shillings. And over the last 24 hours, over 1,400 shares have been traded in CIPLA Quality Chemicals at exactly 80 Uganda shillings. That is 80 Uganda shillings. And the high and low prices this morning have been maintained at 80 Uganda shillings, and the opening price was 80 Uganda shillings. Moving on to Development Finance Company of Uganda, that is DFCU. It has been trading over the last 24 hours at 555, and there hasn't been any transaction over the last 24 hours at Development Finance Company of Uganda. The opening price was 555, and the high and low prices have been maintained at the same price, which is 555. Not much of business there for DFCU Bank. Moving on to East African Breweries Limited. East African Breweries Limited is showing a very positive trend in stock price with an increase of over 34.91 to the current price of 4,428.81 this morning. As well, we can check out what the prices, what transactions took place at East African Breweries last night. Unfortunately, there were no transactions, but at least we can say the price increased to 4,428.81. That is an increase of over 34.91 Uganda shillings. So East African Breweries, despite the turbulent times in Kenya right there, has witnessed an increase in stock price that over the last 24 hours. Now, why we read out these stocks is for you as a shareholder to know the time to trade your stocks, to know the time to buy. As our financial advisors always tell us here on the program, it is always advisable to buy stocks when they're going down, because that way you know you're going to buy at a lower price. And then, of course, it's advisable to sell your stock when they're going up, so that you earn that extra profit on your stock price, so as you can make money trading in stock markets. Moving on, we have KCB, that is Kenya Commercial Bank. Now, Kenya Commercial Bank yesterday had an increase of over 16.58 Ugandan shillings per stock or per share, and it is currently trading at 1,115.06. Yes, that is KCB. It's trading at each share at 1,115.06, and therefore, if you're a shareholder in KCB, that is Kenya Commercial Bank, you can trade at 1,115.06, which is an increase 0.06, which is an increase from yesterday's price by over 16.58 Uganda shillings. Moving on to we move on to Kenya Airways. Kenya Airways also had a good time yesterday. It was among the gainers on the market with an increase in price of over 0.1. Yes, marginal change, but significant, as we can call it, depending on how many stocks you have in the company. So it's currently trading at 120.3 Uganda shillings right there, and it hasn't had any transactions in the last 24 hours. But if you remember, yesterday it was trading at 120.2, and this morning is trading at 120.3. For us here at Financial Markets, even such a slight increase in price is quite significant, because we know you as a shareholder you are a valuable person, and as well, you have a lot to do whenever prices increase or drop with your shares. Moving on, we have MTN Uganda Limited, one of our favorite IPOs here in Uganda. It is currently at 195 Uganda shillings as a stock price, which is an increase of over 5 shillings from yesterday, 5.06 shillings from yesterday's stock price. So MTN Uganda, I can say, is on a steady growth in terms of share price value. So since last week, if you remember, MTN Uganda last week was trading at 185 Uganda shillings, and if this morning it's trading at 195, it means there's an average increase of over 10 shillings over the last couple of days. So if you have MTN shares, you can trade at a higher price right now and make a profit of over 10 Uganda shillings if you bought shares last week at 185. So your price can actually go up by about 10 per share. So you can actually trade on the capital gain and actually gain more profits right there from MTN Uganda. The high and low prices for MTN have been maintained at 195 Uganda shillings. And of course, the opening price is 195 this morning. Moving on to National Insurance Corporation. National Insurance Corporation hasn't had any changes in stock price over the last 24 hours. It is still trading at 6.0 Uganda shillings, and the high and low prices have been 6.0, and the opening price has been 6.0. And I think it's the company with the lowest share price on the market at 6 shillings, and I think it's a good opportunity for many people to actually invest in a company with such a low price, meaning with 6,000 you can access over 1,000 shares right there in National Insurance Corporation. Moving on, we have the Nation Media Group. Nation Media Group also performed well on the market yesterday with an increase of over 17.77. Now, Nation Media Group is trading currently at exactly 636.05 Uganda shillings, and that is an increase of over 7.77 Uganda shillings compared to price, meaning it's among the gainers of over the last 24 hours. So if you have shares in Nation Media Group, you're going to make a profit of 17.77 trading today if you actually had shares yesterday. So it's your time to actually make a little bit of profit out there for yourself from the Nation Media Group trading on the stocks. Now, moving on to New Vision Printing and Publishing Company, hasn't had any activity on the market over the 24 hours and over the last couple of days. So it's still trading at 155 Uganda shillings, and the opening price was still 155, and the high and low prices were 155 Uganda shillings. Not much there going on for New Vision Printing and Publishing Company Limited. Moving on, we have other companies down there on the table. We have Stanbic Bank Uganda. Stanbic Bank Uganda is currently trading at exactly 23 Ugandan shillings, and that hasn't changed over the past couple of hours, though it has had a trading of over 42,500 shares. So they have transacted over 42,500 shares on the market at exactly 23 Uganda shillings. Some activity there for Nation Media Group. And as well, we have the opening and closing prices for yesterday. The high and low prices, rather, are 23 Uganda shillings, and the opening price this morning is 23 Uganda shillings. Something about Stanbic Bank Uganda. According to the African Business Magazine, Stanbic Bank Uganda has been ranked among the top 250 countries in the country based on turnover and as well as market capitalization. So Stanbic Bank Uganda has done a good job over the last couple of months, because not many companies have had such a good time on the market, especially financial institutions, due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the current inflation and so many other problems surrounding the markets. But Stanbic Bank has still stood out and has been ranked. I think I'll clarify the exact position later, but it's among the top 250 companies, African companies, that were ranked according to African Business Magazine. Moving on, we have Uganda Clays Limited. Uganda Clays Limited is trading currently at 19 Uganda shillings, which is a drop from yesterday by 1 Uganda shilling. And so yesterday it was trading at 20, and today it's trading at 19 Uganda shillings. And over the last 24 hours, we've had transactions of over 5,800 shares. Those are the transactions that have been carried out at exactly 19 Uganda shillings. So I don't know if maybe people were selling off, and you know, whenever people sell off, the demand goes down, supply increases, and the share price always goes down. So that is the drill right there. And so Uganda Clays this morning is trading at 19 Uganda shillings. Remember, whenever the price goes down, that's not a sign that the company is going down. No, it's just a sign that there's some activity in the market that is affecting the share price. But for you who wants to get shares in the company, always buy when the prices are going down, because that way you access at a cheaper price. And usually when you go down and hit rock bottom, there's no other option but to go up. So probably you wait until actually the prices go up and you can sell your shares then. And finally, we have Umeme Uganda Limited. Umeme is this morning is trading at 240.01, and that is a significant slight drop by about 2.04. So it is trading at 240.01, but it's a slight drop from yesterday by about 2.04. Now Umeme has had the highest transactions on the market over the last 24 hours, trading over 62,100 shares, each traded at 240.00. Yeah, that has been your market right there for Umeme, and I think it has had the highest number of transactions over the past 24 hours. Now we can move on and see, we had a little bit of meetings that were being announced last week by the Uganda Security Exchange. As I said, these meetings are important because for you as a shareholder to take part in decision making of the company, in elections, in the different things that happen at the company, you have to attend their annual general meeting. And I just wanted to again remind you that before we move on, of the meetings that are coming up. Umeme Uganda Limited, which we have just mentioned, is going to have its annual general meeting. Actually, that was already passed. That is 19th May, Thursday, last week, at exactly 10 a.m. And the book closure date is 24th June 2022, and the dividend payment date is 22nd of July. So if you are a shareholder there, expect your dividend on 22nd July. And the dividend in MTN is going to be 54.1 Uganda shillings. Then MTN Uganda Limited is currently going to have its meeting this Friday. That is tomorrow but 1 at exactly 10 a.m. They will communicate the venue, or probably they have on their website. And the dividend payment date is going to be 24th of June 2022. And significant to note is their dividend payout, which is going to be 4.706 Uganda shillings per share. So if you are a shareholder in MTN, you should attend the general meeting on 27th May, this Friday, and as well expect your dividend of over 4.706 per share. And that dividend will be paid on 24th June 2022. Moving on to Stanbic Uganda Holdings. Stanbic Uganda Holdings Limited is going to hold its general annual meeting on Thursday, 2nd of June. That is next week, this Thursday, but next week, okay? And it's not declaring any dividend this year because due to restrictions by Bank of Uganda on all listed commercial banks not to issue a dividend in order to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic shocks, and due to the inflation in the country and the world. So banks this time that have been listed on the Uganda Securities Exchange are not going to issue out any dividends, and that doesn't exclude Stanbic Uganda Holdings. Nevertheless, they will hold their meeting on 2nd of June 2022. Then British American Tobacco Uganda Limited is going to hold its meeting on 15th of June 2022, and that will be a Wednesday. Then they will close book on 20th of June 2022, and as well give out a dividend of 209 Uganda shillings. So British American Tobacco will give out its dividend as 209 Uganda shillings per share, right there for every shareholder in British American Tobacco Uganda. Uganda Clays Limited is also announcing their annual general meeting on Wednesday, the 29th of June 2022, and then a dividend payment of over 1.5 Uganda shillings per share. And the dividend payment date will be 20th of July, Wednesday, 2022. And I urge all shareholders to take note of such dates as they can be very, very important. Now, coming up on the program today, besides the stock markets, later we had an interview with Mr. Owini Martin, an investor educator at the Capital Markets Authority. He was throwing more light a little bit more about most of the questions you ask yourself concerning capital markets. We shall be having him later on the show to give us a little bit more of what capital markets look like and what the CMA's role is on the capital markets platform. As well, if you remember, we had yesterday weakening of the shillings. We are going to share a little bit more about what to do, because right now as we speak in the country, for the first time in over the last 2 years, the Uganda shillings is weakening against the US dollar. If you want to know why and what can be done to actually control this, keep around. We are going to talk a little bit more about that. As well, KCB Bank Group, later in the show, we shall be showing you your new CEO after, Mr. Oingara Joshua, who has been the CEO for over the past 9 years, actually resigned. We have a new CEO who is Mr. Paul Russo, and I will be showing you what Mr. Paul Russo has for us and what, of course, Mr. Oingara Joshua has done for KCB. KCB is a cross-listed company from the Nairobi Stock Exchange, but it's also listed on the Uganda Security Exchange and has been doing good for quite a couple of days, on the market. We shall also be having a story later on, why the Ugandan state has led other states in East Africa into fully switching to the e-passport. Remember, as an investor, you need to travel sometimes, and sometimes you need to know exactly what's going on the traveling scene. And Uganda has been the first country to actually declare, switching to e-passports ahead of Kenya and Tanzania as well. Remember, in Rwanda, who wanted to come first last year, that is on the 27th of June last year, they pushed that date to 27th of June 2022. So Uganda is going to be coming ahead of all those countries in terms of getting their e-passport. And then later, of course, we shall also talk about how investors are skipping bourses and putting cash in real estate. Now, bourses are stock exchanges of non-English speaking countries. For example, the Anglophone countries, like the countries in West Africa, such as Senegal, Cameroon, and all the other countries that are non-English speaking. And we are seeing investors in those countries actually skipping the bourses, which are the stock exchanges in their countries, to invest more in real estate and other, platforms. Remember, in Uganda yesterday, we saw that over 81% of Ugandans are interested in, investing in agriculture rather than any other field. So we are going to be talking a little bit more of how we can invest that money on the program as well, so that we don't fall into a trap we fell in the pandemic, where we had no savings or we had nothing actually to live on. We're going to go into a short break. When we return with more of your top stories and some of the things we need to keep our fingers on here as Financial Markets. Don't go anywhere, stick around.